Finally, the woman stopped coughing and sank against his embrace, her eyelids fluttering. He pressed 2 fingers against her neck. Her racing pulse didn't surprise him after what she'd gone through. "I'm Luke Michaels. Do you hurt anywhere?" She opened her eyes, and for a few seconds their crystalline blue color trapped him in a stare. "No." She tried to sit up, but collapsed back against him. "Yes." She drew in a breath, then coughed again. "Hurt. All over." He placed her gently on the ground. "Let me see if I can get these chains off you." "Thanks," she murmured in a weak, raspy voice. He tugged on the restraints, but the 2 padlocks holding the manacles around her remained tightly closed. "I need to take you back to my tent. I might be able to pick the locks." He looked up at the bridge, no sight of the 2 men. "Besides, I don't think this is a safe place to stay." She rolled her head to the side to glance toward the bridge. "What happened?" 2 men threw you off the bridge." "Why?" "You don't know?" "No, I don't." She closed her eyes. For a few seconds he thought she'd passed out, but when she fixed her gaze on his face, he released a long sigh. "What do you remember?" "Waking up in the trunk of a car." She paused, her chest rising and falling rapidly as she sucked in shallow breaths. Panic took over her expression. Her eyes grew huge and flitted from one area to another. Luke leaned into her line of vision. "Let's get you out of here. You're safe now." After slinging his rifle across his back, he worked his arms under her body, then struggled to his feet, which painfully reminded him he'd stepped on something earlier. "My camp isn't too far from here." While the lady rested her head against his shoulder, he retraced his path, limping the whole way back to Shep. His dog had stayed where he'd told him. Stopping near his German shepherd, Luke looked him in the eye. "Good boy. Alert." The woman stared up at Luke. "Alert? You think those men will come here?" She tensed, fear invading her features. "Alert is one of Shep's commands to stand guard. We're a team. We do a lot of search and rescue." Her brows knitted together. "You were looking for me?" "No. I like to go camping when I can get away. I was asleep when Shep alerted me that something was happening on the bridge." Luke ducked through the opening in the tent and laid her on his sleeping bag. "What's your name?" He moved to his backpack and rummaged through it until he found his Swiss Army knife. While he went to work on the first padlock, she remained silent. After opening the lock and removing part of her chains, he glanced up to find her eyes clouded, her eyebrows scrunched. "Do you know who you are?" "Sure," she said slowly. "I'm—" Her gaze slid away from his face. He'd once rescued a couple of people who didn't remember anything about what had happened to them. Was she traumatized so much by what had occurred that she didn't even recall her name? After what he saw, it wouldn't surprise him if she had. He continued to work, turning his attention to the second lock. She would be sore and bruised from the shackles. As he released the last restraints from around her, she murmured, "Megan Witherspoon. All I remember is 2 guys dragging me out of a trunk to the side of the bridge." "So you have no idea how you got into the trunk?" Megan shook her head. "Do you know the 2 men?" "I don't think so. I only remember seeing one of them. The other was behind me." "What did he look like?" "He's tall and husky, like a bodybuilder." Kneading the back of her neck, she stared at a spot on the tent above her. "Short, dark hair. No, not short, but pulled back." She looked at Luke. "I think it's long, but I'm not sure. And his eyes were so dark, I thought they were black." "Where do you live?" he asked as Megan, clad in wet jeans and a hot pink t-shirt, stretched her arms and legs as though making sure they worked before she struggled to sit up. He immediately assisted her. "Sweetwater City." "That's 20 miles from here. Is that where they grabbed you?" Luke reached for his duffel bag and pulled it toward him. I think so." Another series of coughs racked her body, her eyes watering from the exertion. "When that guy hit you, he cut your lip." He picked up a cloth and pressed it.